Okay, welcome back. 12 points on the Nifty. 11,544 is where we're at this point. The rupees at the day's high, 68.98. So it's actually come off the lows of the day. Manisha is joining in with essentially a roundup of the commodities and currency action. But on top of the mind today, of course, is the early warning of a potential El Nino in 2019. This is coming in not just from the Australian weather department, but from other countries around the world as well. Manisha, morning. I mean, an El Nino generally has implications for rainfall here, right?
Oh, well, yes, that would really mean lesser rainfall or drier conditions in the Indian monsoon. Remember, when you look at the southwest monsoon in India, that is 70% of the rainfall in the year that India gets. And if we are looking at a developing El Nino this time, it doesn't really bring good news for India. You know, as a reaction to that, we already have seen many of the agriculture commodity prices gain up in the day to day. And as you mentioned, it isn't just Australia, which actually has maintained, the alert as a El Nino there, and they also say that there's a possibility of 70% of seeing an El Nino at this time around. Skymet, the Indian private forecaster, also puts out a 60% possibility of a developing El Nino. IMD, of course, has maintained that they would only come in by April, May to ascertain the El Nino impact on the Indian monsoon. And then you also have the US saying that there's 80% chance of an El Nino in March to May and a 60% chance of the same in June to August. There also are reports from the Japan Agency for Marine and Earth Sciences, which says that India may experience drier than normal weather conditions on El Nino possibility of developing. So all the major weather, marine and earth sciences agencies around the world really are putting out a possibility of El Nino. But let's really understand on what that really means for India. And joining us to talk about that is Mr. G.P. Sharma from Skymet. Mr. Sharma, hi, thank you so much for your time. What is the Skymet's latest report saying? Because your initial estimates were for a normal monsoon, which you recently have changed as you look at the El Nino impact into the markets.
Look, the last estimates, yes, we made, that was last week of February, which was based on January, obviously, the initial conditions.
Yeah.
The El Nino now is a case more than it was at that point of time. The projections have changed thereafter. Actually, it is not expected to have such drastic changes in a short span of time. At that point of time, we did say that the chances are more for the normal monsoon, and followed by, yes, even the below normal monsoon, the chances remain good for that also. The only thing is now with the new projections, it looks like these things are going to switch. Like we'll have more chances towards the below normal and then possibly less towards the normal monsoon. That's going to be the change, because the El Nino conditions, which were showing earlier a significant drop rather, from January to February, towards mid of February, and particularly the last week of February onwards, there is a sharp increase in those conditions now, wherein the temperatures are rising, the atmospheric conditions are obviously responding accordingly, the heat content is large. So all this put together, it is definitely putting us in a bracket now wherein the conditions for going towards less than the normal rainfall, they are becoming increasingly possible now.
Sure. Mr. Sharma, as you said, Mr. Sharma, as you said, there are higher chances of a below normal monsoon now for the 2019 monsoon period. I just want to put some statistics for you to analyze on. Of the 20 drought years that India has seen since 1901, 13 of them are associated with El Nino. So when we are looking at an El Nino year for 2019, you already have said it's going to be perhaps a below normal monsoon. What are the kind of concerns really that you would see going forward, and what months?
See, we haven't seen a good monsoon for the last many years now.
Right.
2 droughts, 14, 15, followed by 2 years of just about making it to below normal rainfall. Last year again, narrowly averting another drought. So good monsoon is almost now missing for the last about 5-6 years. Okay. And we are in a cycle wherein these conditions are not settling at all in the Pacific. Pacific Ocean remains all important for the monsoon over Indian region. And it's not settling. We have been shuttling from La Nina to El Nino for a small period, and then therefore again transiting to the new range of temperatures. So there is this unsettlement in the conditions which we have over the Pacific is resulting these fluctuations. Otherwise, normally the El Nino has a signature. La Nina has a signature. It has a consistency. Consistency is what is missing now. We are seeing these changes. The projections which were promising sometime in the month of February, it became a borderline of El Nino again, but thereafter immediately again they show a significant rise. The heat content over that area, that means right up to 150, 200 meters deep into the sea, it's phenomenal, which is not going to die down easily. All these are indicators towards possibly a poor start of the monsoon. I will say the first half of the monsoon, I will put it as going to be a crucial one. It may be very poor to start with. That's my fear also. Yes, please.
Mr. Sharma, is just about the timing of the probability of El Nino, etc. Is it too early, or can this change essentially in the next 1.5 to 2 months? As
last year we were expecting that El Nino to come up towards the later half of the year or winter months. That was the projections were. After spoiling last year's monsoon, in any case towards the winter, yes, expected to rise, but slow down thereafter, which did happen also for some time. But after that, what is changed now is the phenomenal rise in the temperatures in the Pacific. As I mentioned earlier, last 4 weeks, it's more than a degree or so in the Nino 3.4 region, which is what is again leaving some anxious movement to start with. Yes, you see, the normal pattern for the El Nino is it builds up. It builds up from December to April, including the spring season. That barrier is there, and normally through the monsoon months, as we proceed from June to September, there is a tendency for this to mellow down a little. That is the normal El Nino pattern. But as I mentioned earlier, it is defying all its norms. Okay, frequent fluctuations, expectations, whatever we make, is defying that. And that's what is leading to this inconsistency and the change in possibly the forecast for even the upcoming monsoon season also. Okay, fear is definitely the first half we got to watch out. By the time it improves, it is going to be improving only towards the later half of the monsoon. That means after July, but that too also it will be a marginal. Decline is going to be very, very gradual. So we got to see through these conditions in the Pacific for the entire monsoon.
So Mr. Sharma, what you're saying is
a shade better in the second
What you're
half.
saying is that the months of June and July is something that we can work already with in sense of weaker monsoon months.
Sure. That will be the projection, and particularly, obviously, if the start is not good, it leaves some worrying moment as such.
Right.
Okay, and my worry is definitely it may be far poorer this time start, and then obviously it leaves its trail in the next month also. And by the time we reach halfway through or so, possibly then we have to make a fresh assessment also. In any case, our forecast will come in the first week of April. We are still compiling our data. Okay, the information is being collated. Yes,
absolutely,
please.
Mr. Sharma, thank you so much for joining us. So absolutely, the first estimates will come in the first week of April from Skymet and from IMD, both of these agencies. So that is something that we will keep a keen eye on.
Yes, absolutely, Manisha. But as of now, Mr. Sharma's predictions are not looking that favourable in terms of the monsoon, especially in terms of the start of the monsoon, which could be quite sluggish. As of now, the market is absolutely flat.